Founded in 1891 as the National Canine Defence League, the Dogs Trust is now the UK's largest canine welfare organisation. With now over 17 rehoming centres up and down the country, the Dogs Trust is also involved in educating the public on responsible dog ownership and projects such as campaigning for microchipping. Hi Lesley, so you're the Supporter Relations Officer, so what does that involve?
Well, it's very interesting, and it's all the outward-facing sorts of things, so publicity, fundraising, events and things like that. Obviously we've got dedicated staff here at the centre looking after the dogs, walking, feeding, watering, giving meds, doing all the general things that the dogs need, as well as working with the public to try and find our dogs a loving, responsible home. And while they're doing that, I'm going out and sort of presenting the work to the world at large.
Right, yeah. How many dogs do you rehome on a yearly basis?
Well, last year we rehomed 16,000. What's more important than the sheer numbers is the quality of each home.
Yeah.
We believe every dog's an individual, and we try and find the right home for each of our individual dogs. Here at our Salisbury Centre, we normally have up to 70 dogs at any one time, and it's variable based on how many dogs will share a kennel, how many litters of puppies we might have in at a given time. So it does vary, but we can hold up to 70 dogs here, and generally we are full because every time one dog goes out to a new home, there's another dog waiting to come in. There's generally two main reasons. They're either handovers or strays. Now, a handover is when somebody brings us their dog because they can no longer look after it. And this can happen for any number of reasons, whether it's a divorce or death in the family, a change of job, or somebody's gone out and got the wrong dog for their lifestyle. For instance, if somebody's out at work 10 hours a day and they've got a farm-bred border collie puppy, and then they say, oh, he's being destructive, which is not a surprise, really. We also have dogs that we take in from the local authority dog wardens who were strays, who have been with the dog warden for 7 days and whose owner can't be traced. So we take in a lot of dogs from all local authority dog wardens to try and minimise the amount of dogs that are being put to sleep.
Do you tend to have more of the handover, or do you tend to get more strays, do you think?
It varies hugely. I mean, on a given day there might be an animal ambulance arrive with 12 strays, or it might be that lots of people ring us up in a difficult situation and can we help. No 2 days are the same around here, ever. We do have some other dogs that come in, like with our Canine Care Card, which is a free scheme that we offer, where if something should happen to you and you've registered for the Canine Care Card, your dog can come straight into kennels. They don't go on a waiting list, they don't get passed from well-meaning relative to well-meaning friend and back again, and they certainly don't end up in the stray dog system. This ensures that they'll have the best chance to have a second chance with somebody else. And when you register for the Canine Care Card, you tell us all about your dog. And obviously nobody knows their own dog better than the owner, so they can tell us all the relevant things, and we're in a much better situation to find that dog a new home. So that's a dog that doesn't really fit to the handover or stray category. And we do get some of those, and we encourage everybody to fill in a Canine Care Card. It's free and there's no reason not to. We've got our glass-fronted rehoming kennels, which are state-of-the-art and which are designed to keep the dogs happy, relaxed and healthy while they're with us so that we can find them a new home. We have a specialised block of kennels just for puppies and whelping mums because they need special care. We have a bath and grooming room, and we have a vet suite on site as well, which includes a surgical theatre, which is very important to us because it means we can neuter all of our dogs on site. We can do dental surgeries, microchips, vaccinations, all the basic care that a dog needs can be done on site, which reduces the amount of travel stress that they might have, as well as being a more efficient use of staff time as well.
One of the myths about getting a rescue dog is that you're going to get a dog with behavioural issues. I'm not sure how true that is, because the assessments that you do are obviously quite thorough, and you have a history on a lot of the dogs that come in.
Absolutely. It is a myth that all rescue dogs have problems. Some do, certainly. Of course they do. Many of them have been through a very difficult start, and it would be shocking if they didn't have any issues. However, many dogs come in and are perfectly lovely dogs. They've come in through no fault of their own, and they're simply looking for a second chance. And what's a problem for one person might not be a problem for somebody else. For instance, if you've got a dog who doesn't like to be left and you work at home all day, well, that's not really a problem, is it? Whereas some other dogs do have behavioural issues. We do work with them. We've got a full-time training and behaviour advisor who puts in place programs to help modify the behaviour of any of the dogs, and we try and make sure that if they've got any problems that we can address them. Also, some things are pretty straightforward. If a dog is dog aggressive, then we can find him a home where there's not another dog.
Do you have many dogs that can be homed with children?
We do get dogs in that can be homed with children. Obviously, we're not willing to take risks with any children's safety. A lot depends on the age of the child involved. But what we'll do is if somebody were to come to us with small children, we'd look for a dog, perhaps a handover, that we know has lived with small children before without any difficulty. And obviously we'd talk about training and the importance of training. And we will talk to kids about the importance of treating a dog with respect and all these sorts of things. And we always advise everyone never to leave any dog, however trusted, alone with any small child.
Okay. I understand one of the core values of the Dogs Trust is that you never put a healthy dog to sleep.
That's true.
Tell us a little bit about that value, because that often is something that differentiates you from perhaps some other rescue centres.
Well, we believe that every dog deserves a second chance. Very often if a dog does have issues, it's not through any fault of their own. They're not a bad dog. They may have been mistreated. They may have come from a puppy farm where they didn't have that all-important contact with other people and other dogs when they were young. But very often these are dogs that deserve a second chance, and we don't feel that it's fair to put a dog to sleep for any of the myriad of reasons that people often will say. We don't have a time limit for any of our dogs. Dogs can stay with us as long as they need to until we can find them the right, most suitable home. And we sometimes need to be a bit creative in our thinking as well. If a dog's been with us a long time and doesn't have any issues, it might be that the right people simply haven't come through the door. So in cases like that, perhaps sometimes we can transfer them to one of our other centres. We have 17 centres around the country, so sometimes that's a way to go. Other dogs simply need a chance to settle in and really get comfortable. It can be unsettling for a dog to come into a place like this. As nice as we try and make it, it's not a home. And some dogs really just need that bit of time to find the right home. For instance, we had a dog here called Prince, who's a lovely lurcher, absolutely stunning, but he wasn't great with other dogs, and he was labelled as severely dog aggressive.
Right. Okay.
But we found over time that as he settled in, we were able to introduce him to some dogs, and if he was introduced properly, he'd be fine, depending on the dog, of course. So we spent a lot of time working with Prince, and in total he was here for 1.5 years. We were able to give him that chance, and a couple came in. They were looking for lurcher, and they said, but we're very sorry because our dog won't have any access to other dogs. And we said, well, we know just the dog for you. And they took Prince home. It was a lovely home for him. They're very happy. And it turns out I bumped into Prince recently. He's gone home 2.5 years ago, so he's been out quite a while. But I bumped into him recently, and what's happened is that the couple has continued his training and has really worked with him, made him very comfortable, and he is now great with other dogs.
Wow.
And what he needed was that chance and that understanding. What he needed most of all was time. We were able to give him that, and we think that for dogs like Prince and the thousands of other dogs we look after every year, if we can give them that time, we're going to see the best come out of that dog. We're very grateful for any support that we get. As an animal charity, we receive no government funding whatsoever, so it's very important to us that we get the support of the dog-loving public, without which none of this would be possible. We take in funds from a variety of sources. Rehoming brings in some, Sponsor a Dog brings in some, legacies account for 1/3 of our annual income, so they're very important to us. But any way that people want to support us, we're very happy and very grateful for that. If people want to gift aid, any support that they give us, that helps tremendously. But what people should know is that any support that they give us means that we can save more dogs' lives. We have wonderful volunteers. We do need full-time staff because the dogs need to be looked after every single day, including Christmas and New Year's and Easter and everything. Looking after 16,000 dogs a year, the enormous vet bills. We also do things like we need new agility equipment for the dogs here because we like to give them lots of physical and mental stimulation. So we will at some point be looking for funds for new agility equipment for our dogs. Toys and treats and blankets and things like that are always very, very welcome. We'll be opening a charity shop in Salisbury to raise funds and awareness for the dogs in our care. So if people want to donate new or as new goods to the shop, if they want to donate some time and help out in the shop, that would always be great. And of course, if they want to shop in the shop, all of that will help raise money for the dogs in our care, and that directly transforms into saving dogs' lives.